Hi, it's Twi. Hope you guys are doing good. Sorry I'm running late today. Happy Saturday. I also just had to buffer stream for a sec because I did notice that my Twitch was like 40 seconds delayed. I'm really hoping that having reset it, it's just gonna like behave. Because I thought that we solved this the other day, but maybe I didn't. So like, fingers crossed. But if Twitch does have like a lot of lag or any sort of like desync issues, feel free to come over to YouTube side if anybody ends up with that. But yo, hello. Are you still in VC, Finn? How can you always like juggle conversations so easily? That's crazy. I can never watch streams in VC. Your ADHD is so powerful. Yeah, today we're going to be playing some Mario Kart. Insane break from the Tomodachi life fixation that has been running rampant. And by rampant, I mean me and Nahi and like a little bit of FOMO for other people. This would be fun for me. I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. I was more into playing the Wii Mario Kart again when I got the custom servers set up. But unfortunately for me, I had a pretty small SD card that I put it on, and it is updated to be too big to fit on my SD card. So until I get a bigger one or a hard drive, I guess I just can't play that anymore, which sucks. So I haven't really been playing any Mario Kart recently, but I feel like this one is always fun once I shake off the rust a little bit. So I'm looking forward to just kind of idle-mindedly karting around for a few hours. Working at like 30% capacity, and we're silent right now anyway, that's fair. Silent? Is that a Slay the Spire reference for the Slay the Spire group chat? Who up slaying they Spire moment? Oh, I still need to do my silent run stream, man. I would love it, man. I have not been in the mood to slay my Spire. You should come slay it for me. I mean, honestly, I do still really want to get my A10 silent win. In a lot of ways. Just because I want the completionist element of it. Also, I think because it is my own ego sort of issue to be like, this is the easiest character and I can't win with them. I don't like that. But I still need to get that win. I believe you would pilot that to a win. You would just gamble really hard and do it well. You would gamble good, high luck skill, and you would win. I believe. But I will have to do my best with that. I don't know. I'll probably stream. Well, I want to say I'll probably stream Spire next week, but I also just want to stream Tomodachi Life next week. Like, I don't know. Like, do I even schedule streams next week? Maybe you just assume my default state is that there's going to be a Tomodachi live stream. And if there's not, for some reason, then either I needed the rest day or it'll be something else. Yeah, it might be a Gorilla Week angle. I'm not going to lie. I don't know that I have, like, schedule art for this week anyway that I want to use. Nothing, like, particular jumps out in my brain. Like, I have stuff I could dig up, I'm sure, and, like, reuse, which is what I usually do, but I don't know. Maybe we just go Gorilla for a bit. You guys know my normal stream time when I don't spend like 9 hours in a VC and lose my concept of time. I should like scoot more so that you can see the like what place I'm in. There we go. Maybe like a little bit more left and then just smaller. Yeah. Time isn't real exactly. I think that if not for it being brought up in conversation, or like, I don't know, I think that streaming is the only reason that I know today is Saturday. Like, I just like low-key don't even be keeping track of what day it is other than for stream anymore. I'm so cooked. But it's just because I love my day-to-day life so much that I don't need to be looking forward. I'm so present. Dude, people have some crazy me's on here, not gonna lie. It's like interesting seeing the kind of tech that people would make with like the regular old-fashioned meme maker now having the Tomodachi Life one. Like honestly, I forgot that there were even Miis on the Switch, like outside of Tomodachi Life. I forgot this was a thing. But I guess, yeah, like people were so creative about how they would make different faces without being able to draw. But I can't lie, I think that, well, I was gonna say, I think that being able to draw the bangs on the Miis and like do the face paint is the best thing that ever happened for like meme making. It's so fun. I also think it would be absolutely horrifying if other people could draw the faces of their Miis and then show it to you in online play. I think that would be a really, really bad idea. But I think for like personal satisfaction, I love like the new Mii editor, dude. It's so fun. It's so good. Like I really do feel like a child again, being able to like just make a bunch of really fun Miis. Because that was like my thing when I was a kid, is that I would just like be playing Mii Maker for real, and I would just make a bunch of, I'd make like all my friends, I'd make my family, I would make like random people that don't exist. That was just like my favorite game that wasn't even a game. Yeah, I think that Tomodachi Life having no online capabilities is so awesome. Like, the fact that they just let it be as unhinged as you want it to be is so good for that game. I think it is the essence of Tomodachi Life to have it be very, like, open. Now, to be fair, I feel like I do remember Nintendo putting out some stuff being like, hey, you can't, like, share clips of Nintendo games with profane content. But let me say, I've seen a lot of clips of Tomodachi Life with profane content, and I haven't heard of anything happening to anybody, which I think is good. I think that's right, that nothing is happening and people are allowed to just enjoy things. But I would fear for the kind of like repercussions. No, I got shelled. Why? I'm in 10th off of that. Oh my, Mario Karted for real. I forgot just what it's like. I just green shelled that guy in last. That's crazy. This is actually like a decently high elo room, so I'm like not even losing hardly anything for 10th. But I also don't care about my Mario Kart rank. Shockingly, I am like so fine with losing. I'm just here to yap. This is today's Coco Melon for the Twi yapping stream. Dude, that like actual chatting stream yesterday, Mint's overlay was like so cute. I honestly wish that I thought to like steal it off of him and have it on both POVs, because like it was so cute. Oh, the boys together, it was so wholesome. I really loved, like, I think that our group dynamic is so fun, and I really like the idea of us doing more stuff that is... I think that the mistake that we've had as a group is trying to find, like, the right game for everybody when we have really different tastes in games. I think we just need to pick, like, group activity that is very close to... like, very inoffensive group activity. Kind of just in the same way as, like, Zatsu, but, like, if we wanted to game. You know, in the same way that, like, we all played Counter-Strike and none of us cared about it. Like, none of us really be playing Counter-Strike. It was more so just, like, a thing to do. I think that we need that angle, like, more often. Yeah, like, the cheese... oh, okay. I need the boys' cheese rolling stream. That would be fire. Come on. Come on. That would be so good. This is my next pitch. I think this one is more winnable than golf with your friends. I believe. Because to be fair, I think me and Taro are probably the pickiest about games. And we both like cheese rolling. So like, whoa, that was weird. Hypothetically, it should be so winnable. And it's free. You were like really good at cheese rolling for never having played it, by the way, Finn. You were kind of beast, I can't lie. I was surprised. Like you won so much for never having played before. Like I'm gonna have competition on this cheese rolling tournament for real. No, I should have used my star. Oh. Am I finally gonna have a decent race? Oh. Ah. I'll take 5th. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I am very much in like my brain off gaming phase. I've done so much like high brain activity gaming with like the Slay the Spire fixation, and I think I was really into Osu at like the same time. I played a lot of Osu, which, you know, Osu feels like it should be a brain off game because it's literally just like click circle, but it's so focus intensive. Like the entire world is that game when you're playing it, man. Like you get so in there. Yeah, it's super not like a brain off game. It is like the most brain on game. And so like, I think I just like kind of cooked my brain for a while. Like I need my Coco Melon games back. I need all of my like really addictive games. I need my easy dope farm games. But I think, interestingly, as a side effect of the fact that I've been playing, like, way chiller games recently, I've been consuming more intentional, like, videos. Like, I haven't been watching as much YouTube, and the YouTube I have been watching has been way more, like, thoughtful. My attention span has been so good. Like, I've been mostly watching streams or, like, let's play, like, longer form content. I haven't gotten to talk about this on stream yet, even though this was like yesterday and I streamed twice yesterday. I didn't bring it up, but there's this YouTuber I really like. I've talked about him on stream a billion times. His name is Euro Brady. He's a therapist, plays like story games and uses them as like a vessel to talk about mental health stuff. Really cool guy. Really cool like spin-off on like the kind of let's play genre of content. But anyway, he's been playing Doki Doki Literature Club for the past, like, several months, on and off, which I love that game, but I hadn't thought about it in, like, I don't know, man, better part of a decade, probably? It's a pretty old game by now. So it's been really cool to relive that game. But I think what's really cool now is, like, I didn't even know about this when, like, before he started making his series. But they made, like, a revamp of the game called DDLC Plus, and it was, I think, mostly just so that if you didn't easily have access to go into the game files and delete certain stuff, like I think it's for, like, console ports and stuff, it was, like, part of the launcher, so you could do that. But there's also side stories for, like, the post-game that are just wholesome. It's like nobody is insanely psychotic, and instead you just get to see them being like functional and healing, which is really wholesome. And I've never consumed this part of the story. I've never gone to experience it, but he got there and I got to watch like the first chapter of that. I was like, I'm gonna wait, mostly because I don't want to spend like $12 on a game that I've already played and is also free. but also because I thought it would be really nice to experience it in this like format, since I really like his analysis of stuff. So I'm really glad that I've finally sort of made it back to being all caught up, and I'm getting to enjoy that. I was like so enjoying it that I wrote a poem the other day, guys. I'm like, I kind of liked writing a poem. I kind of want to write a few more. Like, I haven't done poetry in a really, really long time, and I never did it in a serious capacity. My experience with poetry is, you know, you do it a little bit in English class just as like something that you have to do. And the other thing that I ran into it for in English class is I remember in high school, we had to do like a book study where you would choose a book as long as the teacher approves it, read it, and then like write an essay about the book or something like that. And I wanted to pick the shortest book that I could because I didn't want to read. So I picked a poetry book so it would have way less text to read. But I mean, I like poetry, so it also was just like a good choice. I didn't really like think of it that way at the time, but I think poetry is really cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed writing it again. I think it's a very cool medium. It was interesting to kind of reapproach poetry now, because the last time I did poetry is legitimately like the better part of a decade ago, I would say, right? And having done a lot of songwriting since then gave me a lot of new perspective. I feel like the creative muscle is a lot more developed than it used to be. And poetry is like interesting in its application in the sense that it has structure, but it's less like rhythmically or like phonically bounded than songwriting. Or it can be more, like if you want to lean into the gimmick, you can make it like even more rhymey or like repetitive or whatever than you would normally want for songwriting. But it's like, it's always a choice, and I think that I like to be a little bit more like expressive and like scenic about the way that I write poetry compared to the way that I write lyrics, probably. So it's just like a very different, like, but similar form of creative expression. I really liked it. I had a fun idea. I don't know if I'd be able to do it, but I honestly feel like it's a very possible thing. Which was that I would love to either do like a collab stream of getting a bunch of people to come write a poem and then like share them. Or maybe more realistically, I like ask a bunch of my friends to write poems and then I just like review them on stream myself. Since it would be a lot harder to coordinate like a big thing. But I do think the Poetry Slam collab has potential. I think it seems unintuitive, but I actually think it would be a really, really fire stream. I think it'd be very insightful into a lot of very cool people. I think it would be fun to see how, because poetry is like such a like open-ended medium. Like you can really do it in a lot of different ways. I think it'd be very fun to see how everybody approaches it. Wow, I did not get the double box and I hit the wall huge. But I think that would be really fun. I would love to do that kind of collab. Yeah, exactly. It's very personal in style, which I think is really fun. It lets you get like a look into somebody's like psyche that you wouldn't normally. Well, I think that I am like, generally speaking, a very like metaphorical person to begin with. I like to think in metaphors a lot. And so I like how expressive poetry is as a medium in that regard. But I also think even just like the way in which you sort of internalize that, like there's a lot of different ways to come up with metaphors. There's a lot of kinds of metaphors you could come up with for poetry. Like I think part of what I appreciate so much about Doki Doki Literature Club as a game that centers itself around poetry, I would say that is very like approachable even if you are not like into poetry. I think it makes it very accessible, right? One of the things I love about that game is how it uses very, very different writing styles to express the different characters, you know? But they're all still like really thoughtful, deep poems. But you know, you have like a very like overly cutesy, like onomatopoeia focused kind of style in like Natsuki. You have like a very like imagery focused, like descriptive language, like very novel-y styled stuff with Yuri, and then like Sayori's is sort of in between. It feels like very personally expressive and like emotionally forward, but I think that the metaphors tend to be a little bit more like visual and complex but expressed in like simple ways instead of having like more simple metaphors expressed in like creative ways like Natsuki. I think it's a really creative, and of course Monikas are always just like kind of unnerving, but that's like the point, which is really cool. I don't know, I think it's such a cool ass like psychological horror game. It seems so like random to be like, I should write a psychological horror about poetry, but it's actually genius because it's like it's such a good way to look into the psyche of a character, is like the way that they would express themselves through poetry. Like, it's so genius. I don't know. I really liked that game when I was younger and didn't like really understand a lot of the deeper themes of it. But revisiting that game as an adult, I like really appreciated so much of the creative direction of that game. It's really like brilliant. And I also like that it's a visual novel that doesn't take 12 quintillion years to consume. I feel like I like visual novels as a concept, but I am too impatient for visual novels almost always. And so I appreciate having a more palatable size. Oh god. Oh! Man, I was doing so good. Oh? Okay, we got a podium finish. Huge. We are so not washed. I'm very washed. I'm having fun, though. Good brain off activity. But yeah, I think... You know, I would also be curious, I think, if I do organize this, like, poetry slam event thing... I think one thing that would be really interesting for me is to look at if I've written a couple poems not for stream, and then look at the ones that I wrote for stream and see if I express myself very differently, and if so, like, how so, right? What kind of aspects would I want to do? Because I think that poetry is deeply personal, but I also think part of that is... because a lot of the time you write poetry for yourself, and if you write poetry knowing it's going to be perceived by another group, I think it also shapes the way that you, like, externalize your thoughts into concepts and, like, how you might frame it. So I think it'd be interesting to, like, look at for myself. Just found out about you. I think you're my favorite VTuber now. Well, hello there. Nice to meet you, Soleum. Where'd you find me? Like literally just the stream, or did you find me through something else? I'm curious. What's up? But yeah, the poetry subtangent aside, I don't know. Writing cool. I think the older I get, the more I realize that writing is a really cool art form that I don't give enough appreciation to on account of I am too impatient to read books very often. I'm so lazy to read book, but writing's so cool though. Like, I kind of wish it was more socially respected to do writing without, like, because if I hear somebody say that they're a writer, I immediately am going to assume that means that you are writing a book, like probably a novel. Like, that is the default option, but like there are so many like really sick forms of writing that are not book. Or at least not like novel style book, and I think it would be really cool to see. Through X, oh my god, bro, that's crazy. I feel like I'm so bad about remembering to post on Twitter, but I'm glad. If you host, I'd be so... Yeah, I want you to be there for that. I feel like you're a really interesting person with like a lot of introspection, and I think that that would translate really well into poetry. I would love to read a Finn poem or a couple Finn poems. I'll reach out because I really want to. I think I just gotta pitch it to a couple more friends and see Oh man, I used the mushroom like the worst time there. I want to pitch it to a couple friends, and as long as I have like a handful of people, I think it'd be really, really fun. Writing poems on and off for years. Whoa, that's so cool. I kind of wish that I got back into it sooner. I wanna write a few. I think I'll probably write another poem tonight. Cause like, I don't know, it's just like, I think maybe a little part of it as well is as much as I really like doing creative writing for like VTubing and in that context, it's been so long since I've done like a creative art form purely for like myself. Like I just wrote it because I thought that I felt personally inspired and I didn't have any sort of like external expectation of the project other than like, I just want to make this and like make it a thing. And so I think it'd be really cool to like explore that a little bit more for myself. Because there is like a little bit of a blurring that happens after long enough of VTubing, I think, where like Twi is me, which is good. I like that I feel very, very personally intertwined with Twi. But I also do think like the side of me that isn't Twi is like very important still. Or just like the not outward facing side of being Twi, right? Like the side of me that's offline and like in my more interpersonal relationships, I think is very easy to like underexplore as a creative person, but also has a lot of potential to like lead to more appreciation and like enrichment of your usual like social experience. I think that's my perception. And so I think it would be really, really swag. But yeah, I gotta see. I think if I do it, it'll probably be June, because right now I think the vibe of my life is that I will be Tomodachi rotting very majorly until about the last week of May. Then I have to lock in crazy style on some work for May. And then after that, June, I have stuff to do, but I'll have like more time, and I'll be a little bit more like out of my fixations, I think, right? Like I think aside from the fact that I do like technically have time right now, it's like I'm very fixated mentally right now. And so it's hard to like channel the energy even if the time for it is there. And so I think June will be like a good point for me to try and organize something like that. Plus then it'd be summertime and maybe we'll get like summery poems and that'd be cute. Will there be more Tomodachi live streams? Yes, there sure will. I was talking earlier about the fact that I don't even know if I'm gonna bother making a schedule next week because I'm pretty sure every stream is just gonna be Tomodachi live, and it will it'll mostly just boil down to if I've got the energy to stream, we'll play. Yo guys, don't look at lap count. Ah! I deserve that for saying that. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm fine. Oh god! Go! Oh, second! I'm the GOAT! There we go. On Baby Park. The most skill-based race. But yeah, I have so much catching up to do. Nahi has gotten so many hours in compared to me. I need to make more friends. I have so many friends to make. Like, honestly, I've been enjoying the, like, me editor so much. I was talking about this, like, last time I streamed it. But I think it's really, really funny that my gateway into doing digital art legitimately could be Tomodachi Life character editor. But, like, I don't know, man. It's so fun, though. Like, I'm actually, like, learning a little bit of, like, graphic or like, digital art kind of techniques in order to do it. Because traditionally, I've had a couple times where I'll, like, try to learn digital art a little bit, but what it boils down to is I don't have like a strong motivating factor. And in terms of just wanting to like do something like quick and easy for fun, I would rather just like draw physically. Like I like to draw with like a pencil. I usually just draw with pencil. Maybe like occasionally I'll do more, but usually I just like pencil sketch stuff. And so it's kind of a thing where I would go into the software just for like the sake of it, because I have other friends that are into digital art, and I would be like, yeah, I should probably learn digital art a little bit. And I go in and I'd just be like, damn, I have no idea where anything is. I don't know what I'm even supposed to be looking for. And I would just end up not having like the best time because I feel very misguided, right? Or like directionless. But now, I think coming out of this fixation, I might have enough of a foundation that with the right like push, maybe I would actually try and draw something for real, which could be really cool. I do feel like being on mouse seems like it would be quite a bottleneck, and my very, very old drawing tablet is really cheap and like I can't do brush thickness and stuff like that. So I feel like it kind of sucks. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I've been drawing on controller for Tomodachi Life, so like, surely it can't be that bad. You know, you just turn the smoothing up and thug it out. I should have held my other coins that I would have pulled defense here. Okay, I'll do this though. Oh man, I pulled coin for the 1 billionth time. My bank account is full. The game won't let me be any richer, please. Oh, blue shell. Oh. Okay. Oh, I'm getting hit with that, man. I'm so scared. I hope I don't get comboed. Ooh. Gotta fix single box. Banana. I'm very scared. He's gonna throw it back, crazy style. No, he didn't. Oh, he's so kind. Okay. Solid. Have you drawn before? Well, thank you. No, not well. I mean, like I said, I do like sketch a little bit on paper, but I'm not good at it. Like, I'm definitely not like a drawing person. I'm not bad per se. I'm better than people who never draw, but I'm worse than people who would make it a part of their personality to be somebody who draws. I think it's probably a fair way to put it. It is like very much a I sparingly dabble with it kind of hobby. And I've never been like particularly into art like more seriously as a fixation, or I've never like taken a class at like a higher level for art or anything like that. But I do like drawing a little bit, but I had to learn a lot, I think, aside from anything else. My other VTuber friend who is very, very into Tomodachi Life right now, Nahi Kikomori, my Oshi, my goat, is very, very good at digital art, obviously. And I mean, our friend circles have like a huge amount of overlap. At least like the people I've made so far are like all the same friend circle. So I kind of like watched the way that she was making everybody, and I was just like taking notes for myself. I literally have a Google Doc that is full of A, all the friends that I know I want to make, and B, a note section where I was looking at like Nahi's workflow of making Miis and like taking notes for myself on like when to do what techniques and like try and like figure it out. And obviously I think that there are a lot of aspects that are going to be like worse. Like, I don't really know, I don't have a good intuition for shading. I don't really know what is supposed to be shaded where for the most part. But I think that having like a more correct workflow as like my baseline made it a lot easier to make Miis that are at least like expressive of what I want them to be, you know, like it is very clearly my friends. And that makes me really happy. I think it's very fun. Oh! Damn. But yeah, I don't know. I think art is always one of those hobbies where I think on paper I would really like to get better at it. Like I really want to be somebody who's good at drawing, but also I think that relatively it is such a skill intensive like hobby to have. It is such a dedicated craft that I have so much respect for, but not enough time or like not so much drive to spend all my time on it, that for the most part I would rather just kind of like focus my creative efforts into other mediums. But I do really like art, and I think that from like an idealistic standpoint I would love to draw more. Who's the friend you're talking about? Her name is Nahi Kikomori. Nahi Kikomori. Very swag. Her Tomodachi Island is so drama. Oh my. If you want your like telenovela like soap opera ass island, check her VODs. It is diabolical. Man, my whole race just like died there. Oh, that Toad is like way further back though. He's having a bad day. This other guy's driving backwards. Whoa. Okay. He's bagging. Oh, he's letting the other guy pass. Oh, interesting. Interesting dynamics going on in the Mario Kart room that I haven't been paying any attention to. I've just been yapping. Yeah, such an artistic day today. Talking about drawing, talking about poetry. I guess indirectly talking about music. I mean, I did mention... I did mention like doing a lot of songwriting stuff as well, but this like recently I've been much more doing like the audio work side of musical stuff than like writing, which I do really like songwriting, but I also think that audio stuff is really fun. Well, it depends. I don't find doing like auto-tune stuff, like doing the pitch correction and like the timing correction, to be particularly like fulfilling personally. However, I do love doing audio mixing. I think that it's very fun to like balance and like clean everything and try and like basically take the vocals that are ready and turn it into like the sound that you're going for. I think that's like really expressive and fun. So I've been trying to get more on that. Like I even opened a vegan recently. So maybe one day. I think I might like revamp my services on there a little bit sometime soon, but I am hoping to get more in with it. I got to meet some more audio friends recently, and that's been really cool because I think that audio is like an interesting form of art where there are kind of conceptually right ways to do things, but the way that you get to the end result is like pretty open-ended. There's a lot of ways to get the right sound. It's just about like picking one of them, you know what I mean? Like a lot of producers, or I get, well, production is a different kind of boat, but at least with like mixing, a lot of mixers, they'll have like very similar effect chains in terms of like what's going on. And they'll know like all of the plugins each other are using. They'll overlap some of them. But also, it's not uncommon for them to just have like one plugin that maybe is a little bit more like niche to them than to a lot of other people, which is kind of like cool. I don't know. I think it's neat. I'm gonna use this here, I think. Am I able to join? I think for today, I'm probably not gonna bother doing friend requests to join the worldwides. Sorry. Thank you though. And if you decide to stay anyway, then welcome. We got a win! Huge! I'm so back! But yeah, I don't know. I guess between, like... between the audio stuff and drawing and poetry and Tomodachi life... it's been a very art time of my life. I'm in a very artistic time of my life. Which is very fun. I don't know. I've been enjoying doing so many like creatively expressive things recently. Very swag. I want to keep being very, very artsy. I also think it's because I have like an artsier friend group than I've ever had at any point in my life, which is so fulfilling. I love being friends with like artsy people, dude. Because I think that I am the type of person who loves to think a lot. I'm a thinker. And I like to have sort of very open-ended or like interesting conversations with my friends. I like to talk about both very serious and unserious things from a very detached lens and just kind of like ponder stuff, sort of, right? And I think artistic people are really fun because they're really good at like having a perspective that's usually a little bit more personalized. And I think that people who have like more personal perspectives tend to be more enriching to your own life to like take a piece of that, you know what I mean? It feels better because I can already like go and look for like an aggregate of data. I can try and find like studies or statistics or whatever. If I feel like I'm in a position where I need like solid numbers to make a decision. But there's a lot of stuff in life that there's like so many answers that are not objectively right or wrong. And like some are serious and some aren't, obviously. I mean, this is just philosophy, right? But I think that having people who have more of like a personal philosophy, I think it lets you reflect more on like the personal nature of your own philosophies as well. And like try and think about the way you see the world in a lens that is more relevant to yourself, which is, I think, a very good thing in a time of like information overload. You know, there's more to see in the world than you could ever consume in a lifetime. I think it's more important than ever to like get a good feel for like filtering down to your own experience and like the experience of people that you decide to like care about. And I think having friendships that fill that box is really epic because it lets you like get to see a very unfiltered side of that. You know what I mean? Like I'll have times where I have like YouTubers and streamers and artists where I really love the way that they see the world, and I like to kind of take some of their perspective and put it into my own life. I like to be inspired by them, and I think that's a very good thing, right? But I also think that there will always be an aspect of public-facing, like, people where their philosophy is shaped by the fact that there are so many people consuming their perspective, and they have to sort of treat themselves to a very high standard as a result of that sort of like valuation system that they're going to have to be in that position, right? You don't get to be viewed by so many people and become brilliant at something without really like sinking your everything into it and having it like consume a lot of your social life, your personal life, whatnot, right? And so as like a more normal person, still you can be inspired, but a lot of that inspiration is more an extrapolation than like a direct, like relatable experience, right? But when it's like friends, you kind of get to see like a very unfiltered side. And not all the time. Some friends will be a little bit more like personally distanced than others, but I think that you get to know people a lot deeper in like a different way, you know, like you can appreciate their perspective, not just because like in the context of whatever conversation, it's an interesting perspective, but you probably know a lot of that person's life story. You can like understand how they like how their experiences led them to the value system that gives them the perspective and opinion that they have. And maybe if any of that resonates with you and your experiences, you can kind of adopt some or all of that into your perspective, right? I think that getting to know people more intimately like that is really, really epic. Maybe I'm just nosy, maybe. But I think I am inherently like a above average curious person. But I think that that's really fun. And I love being friends with really artsy people and getting to like lean into that more. So that's been really swag. It's been really epic. Also, hi Victor, sorry, like mid enormous tangent, but I hope you're doing good. I'm rambling today, it's just one of those days. Oh, good boy. You know, my design is kind of like planetary. Well, Play-Doh is. What is like the like etymology of Play-Doh? Like, what does that mean? Because it feels like it should have some sort of like planetary thing to it, but I don't know. Well, yeah, obviously he was a guy, but. Like, where does the name come from, bro? For a second, I was like platonic, and I was like, but that's named after the guy, though. Imagine the like alternate like sequencing where you name your child after the word platonic because you don't want to be parasocial about your child or anything. Obviously, you know, you got to be nonchalant. Yes, this is my very platonic son. I love him so platonically. Listening while drawing? Huge! If it's your kind of thing, we do have a Discord with an art channel. You're more than welcome to share your drawings if you ever want to. I know a lot of it tends to be... Well, no, actually, no. I think it used to be a lot more like fan art of me. I still love seeing fan art in there. It makes my day. But also a lot of it is just people sharing like random art, which is cool too. We love drawers. Favorite ethical framework? I can't say. I've studied a lot of philosophy in an academic enough sense to know that off the dome. But let's see. Ethical frameworks. Ethical frameworks are perspectives. Are perspectives useful for reasoning what course of action may provide the most moral outcome? Let me see what we got here. Virtue ethics. What is moral is what makes us the best person we could be. Deontology. What is moral is what follows from absolute moral duties. I feel like defining moral with moral in the definition is kind of bad, but okay. I get the idea. Utilitarianism, what is morally right is what generates the best outcome for the largest number of people. Rights-based ethics, what is moral is that which is in accord with everyone's rights. Care-based ethics, what is moral is that which promotes healthy relationships and the well-being of individuals and their interdependence. Well, I mean, I agree with a lot of these in different contexts. I think that it matters a lot what your perspective is. I think that virtuousness is like, on the one hand, I think I really agree with the idea that like every good moral should be the moral that makes us the best person, because that's what being the best person would look like, is to be the most in line with your core values and therefore your morals. But obviously I think that could have like an individualistic interpretation, and I don't know. I think that morally, everybody has an obligation to themselves first and foremost. I think that the only person you are fully morally obligated towards is yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You need to get your own ducks in a row before you worry too much about helping other people. And that's not to say that you need to be like fully organized, because nobody has it all the way together. But you need to not be like completely dysfunctional to be helping other people adequately, I think. But that being said, I am a big fan of choosing to spend some of your bandwidth as a person helping other people extensively, I'm not so much into the like moral philosophy of doing a lot of really small acts of kindness for like a lot of different people, like to strangers and stuff like that. I guess it depends how small. Like, you know, yeah, I'll like hold the door open for a stranger and, you know, like be very polite to them and listen if they need something from me. But also, like, I think even if I was not as like financially stifled as I currently am, you know, if I saw like a normal person and they were like buying their groceries, I don't feel like I would ever have a situation where I feel obligated to like do them a service and like pay for their groceries just out of the kindness of my heart or something like that. Like, I think that things get complicated when money is involved is probably part of my philosophy, which of course, if you had like a bottomless pit of money to throw away at whatever you wanted, maybe that would change things actually. Because like, I don't know, if I saw somebody struggling to pay their groceries and I was like a multi-millionaire, I would probably be like, yeah, I mean, that's like a drop in the bucket to me. Like, sure, I'm just gonna pay this person's groceries, why not? But I guess like giving within your means is always important, philosophically. But I do believe, more so than like utilitarianism and the idea of like you should pick an outcome that benefits the most people, I think that that can be a trap in the sense that it's a very idealistic philosophy a lot of the time. You know, people will have ideas of like what the best thing for everybody should be, and it'll be something that people won't actually do. It's not an actionable like moral idea, you know what I mean? Like, for example, I don't know, it would be really good if like alcohol was not like allowed, maybe, because it's really bad for your health, and it would be better for everybody on average if nobody needed alcohol. But the problem is, like, people are gonna want to drink anyway, and if it's not alcohol, it'll probably be some other sort of stimulant substance, because people will want an escape sometimes, and that is okay. That is part of human nature, right? And so I am a much bigger fan from like a moral standpoint of trying to promote balance, not just like, because I think balance is obviously always like a good thing. You know, everybody can agree that like having a varied life in a way is like usually the key to being healthy about things. But I also believe in balance in like delivery and like how you connect with people. Because a lot of people, like, they want to be helpful to others, but they go at it from a standpoint of trying to like solve the other person's problem. Like, if I were you, I would do this thing. But the thing is that when they say that, they don't think of if I were you as in like, if I lived all of your life experiences and I was where you are today, but I somehow had my own wisdom, what could I give to that? Instead, they're like, if me, the person right now, is dropped into your body, I would just do this thing and it would solve it. And a lot of the time they'll give you an answer that you've thought of, but you don't have the motivation to act on because of your life experiences, right? There's like a disconnect sort of mentally. People don't try and understand not only like what the other person's perspective is, but why the other person's perspective is. Why do you feel that way? Why do you act that way? Why do you want to change whatever thing it is? Like, what is the value promoting this, and how do we get there? Because understanding all of those things is the most important part, and then like finding the most like moral solution that helps everybody. It all comes from like finding the compromise in everybody's value systems, and you know, finding a solution that tries to adequately balance all of those systems, I think. And so I guess, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know ethically what this would fall under. I would have to assume some sort of like more individualistic kind of thing. I don't remember what it was called. I do believe that philosophy and morals are very, very like individual, because they're always going to be based on your own lived experiences. You know, something that is moral to you would be immoral in a different culture, and that's okay, right? I think it's all about understanding and appreciating different perspectives from your own. which is wonderful. I love variety. I just love balancing different things. Maybe this is why I've gotten into audio work, because I like balancing audio. Everything epic in life is a balance. Food is awesome because you balance eating stuff that makes you feel good, like health-wise, with stuff that makes your heart feel good, like mood-wise. I like video game that makes me balance relaxedness and like escape with like personal development and pushing my abilities. I like balance weight on my arms. Me lift weight, me feel good. I have not been lifting recently though. The art of the lifts has not been one that I've been practicing very much recently. Should probably get back on that, but I don't know, man. I need the right motivator. I don't have it right now. I think I had a little stint where I thought I was going to get more into dancing, which is interesting because I've never really gotten into dancing before conventionally, but I had like a thing coming up where I thought that I would be doing some dance, and I was like, dancing is really cool. I've always respected dance a ton as like an art medium. So I thought I would get more into it. I kind of never did, unfortunately. Maybe the dance stint will still come one day. To be fair, I think part of it is like my living circumstances. Like I literally physically do not have room to dance in my room. Like it is too claustrophobic for me to do anything. But if I had more space, I feel like I am naturally the type of person to just like be moving along to music anyway. Like I did notice, so my only experience of a concert before like very recently was when I went to see Otto. And that was in a big arena. So, you know, of course we were like just kind of seated in like the back corner, and I was just like, you know, admiring the insane like performance. And I would like maybe be like bobbing my head along or whatever, maybe like a little fist pump or something to myself. But it's very like reserved because you're seated, right? And I kind of assumed that that was more or less the extent of how I would be like towards music. But I went to a concert last month that was in a much smaller venue. It was probably like maybe 60 or 80 people. Just like a little indie rock show. It was really good, really good. I loved it. And we were just standing on the floor like near the stage. And I even though I was sick at the time, and I was like masked up and whatnot, I was like recovering. I was like mostly recovered, but I was there with like a mask, and I was tired more so than anything from having been sick a lot. I was like dancing a lot, like obviously in a very like confined space because, you know, there's other people on the floor and you're not gonna like bump into them or anything, but within my little space, I think I danced more than I realized I would. Because I socially am not the type of person to go to a lot of places where dancing is like encouraged. I don't go to the club. I don't go to parties. You know, I'm a bit more reclusive than that. And so I don't really have like a good mental backlog of like what a normal like people dancing situation tends to be like, you know. And if you look at dancing in media, it's like very over dramatic, you know. People are really into it. Be doing like big whole body moves, and I think stuff like that is really cool. Don't get me wrong, it is super cool. It has its place, but like in terms of dancing in like a normal capacity and just like having like a fun but like not insane amount of movement, I think that I enjoy that more than I thought that I would have, which is cool. But I mean, it makes sense to me. Like, I don't know, I'm just somebody who very deeply enjoys music, so I think it's only natural that dance would... Yo, that was a crazy snipe. I think it only makes sense that dance would be kind of something I could appreciate, at least casually. Yeah, music stuff is interesting too. I don't know. I was having a fun conversation with one of my friends earlier who does not do audio work, but is an audiophile. And so he was like very knowledgeable, honestly more knowledgeable than me, specifically because we were talking about IEMs, which is in-ear monitors, for anybody who doesn't know, just like earbuds but better. Is more or less my understanding. Kind of in the same way that like you can have like regular headphones and then there's like audio monitoring headphones that are designed to do like audio work and listen more critically. They're designed to be like more what's the word? Detailed. There's like more audio detailing just in general, right? I think in-ear monitors are supposed to kind of be the same thing, but in-ear obviously, so like earbuds instead of like over-ear headphones. And I personally am definitely much more like an over-ear headphone kind of person than I am into like in-ear headphones. So I'm not like super knowledgeable about IEMs. So it was kind of fun to listen to him talk about it. He's very adjacent. You know, as much as I think that I'm not like super into like audiophile stuff, part of that is probably just because I don't have like crazy money to throw at different audio products just for fun. Because I do find it very interesting and very fun to learn about. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've got any new pair of headphones though. My current headphones are insanely scuffed. Basically, my current pair of headphones, what happened is the part, like there's like a little plastic bit where the adjustable part of the headphone is, you know, like the part that the ear cup is kind of like held on by that connects into the band so that you can change how tight or loose it is. The plastic on the front of that like cracked off entirely. And so the band can't stay in place anymore. And what we came up with is my dad had like an old like wristband for his watch. And so he cut it off and rolled it up into like a little cylinder that was the right width to go into the hole that cracked off. And then he just electrical taped like all over it, like vertically, horizontally, diagonally, just like really making a tight web of tape to hold it in place. And we've just been doing that and replacing the tape every once in a while for like almost a year now, I think. And it just works. Like, I don't know. My wire is like a little finicky, but outside of that, like the audio just works totally fine anyway. So it's nice to not have to replace it, even though it's super jank. I will say as well, I feel like recently I noticed, like, most of the time, I've had the impression that when my headphones are being really annoying and they're only playing audio in my left ear, because that's what I mean when the wire's janky. It's kind of like, you ever had like an Apple phone charger usually? I mean, it could be any phone charger, but I feel like it's usually Apple, where after a while, you have to get it at like the perfect angle or else it doesn't actually charge your phone. You breathe on it funny and it'll like stop charging. That was like kind of the situation with my headphone wire, where if you get it at like the wrong angle, it'll just like only play the audio in my left ear instead. But I noticed recently that a lot of the time that that's happened, I just have the wheel of my chair is like on top of the wire, and once I move it like out from under that, it stops doing it. Which is kind of interesting, because it's not like I'm actively like rolling over the wire very much, and there's like no obvious like permanent damage to it that I can tell. But that has been like a pretty reliable fix for me recently, so I guess I'm kind of hopeful that I can go even longer than I maybe would have guessed without having to replace them. Because, you know, new headphones very expensive, so I would love to keep my current pair as long as I can. I'm bad. That's okay. Oh, I'm gonna hit by this. Psych! Oh, I got a mushroom. A shortcut. We gotta get this dub. Lock in. I'm really tempted to use my bomb. I should have used it. It got stolen. Oh, man. I was holding on to it for a red shell as well. Unlucky. I should have played aggressive with the bomb. Oh, well. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Oh, we still get second, though. I'll take it. Clean? You know, as much as I thought I was, like, crazy washed, we are actually still gaining in this room, which is fun. I was so expecting to just kind of get boomed perpetually, but it's been more competitive than I would have thought. Although I do feel like a lot of the time with these kind of racing games, you don't really lose your touch. You just kind of need a couple races to feel it out again, and then you're like, maybe you're not going to be like at your pinnacle, but you can always stay like pretty sharp. I don't know if I'm going to play too much longer, but mostly because the reason I was late for stream today is because I was in a voice call on and off, but mostly on for about 8 hours today. Like, we were just chatting, like, idly for so long. And at one point, one of my friends was like, hey, Twi, isn't your stream, like, now? And I looked down, and I'm like, oh my god, it's 2 minutes ago! I got jump scared, because it legitimately, it felt like I had hours until then still, and in reality, it was like, nope, it's already 7. But, yeah, the only time I hopped out was for food, which, oh, food was so good, guys. I ate so Canadianly today. We went to Swiss Chalet. Well, I didn't go to Swiss Chalet, but I had food from Swiss Chalet, which is not Swiss, it's Canadian. One of many Canadian chains that is named after a place other than Canada for no reason. And I had, like, a super Canadian order. I got wings with honey garlic sauce, which always surprises me that honey garlic is a Canadian thing, because it just seems like something that everybody in North America would love, but like it's only really a Canadian thing. Like anytime I've told this to American friends, they'll be like, we have garlic parmesan, and I'm like, that's not the same thing. That's good, but that's definitely not the same vibe as honey garlic, like at all. I think in a lot of ways, some of the sweeter, like, Korean, like, chicken sauces tend to be a lot closer, where they're, like, sort of soy garlic, with, like, I guess probably, like, brown sugar or something a lot of the time, some sort of, like, sweetening component. But I mean, the kind of Western, well, I say Western, like, the Canadian style, like, honey garlic sauce is really just that, you know, it's just garlic flavor and honey to make it sweet, and it's really, really good. I love it. But I had that, and then to be even more Canadian, I had poutine on the side, which I don't normally do. Poutine is pretty heavy to be eating as a side, but I have not had a poutine in so long. I really wanted one. And so even though they're not like a poutine place, I got poutine. It was good. I will say it has the same problem that a lot of restaurants in Canada that make poutine but not as their main thing have, which is that they don't give you cheese curds for some reason. It's like little, like, globs of cheese, you know what I mean? If you ever look at like a nice poutine in like a picture that's probably from like Quebec or something, you know, it's like little like cubed curds of white cheddar amongst the fries and like gravy, and that's like perfect because it's like meant to all be bite size on the fork, right? You get like a cheese curd, some fries, and you go in and it's like everything fits. It's beautiful. Instead, you know, a lot of these like restaurants, for whatever reason, they're like white cheddar. I don't know if the curds are like just not tempered properly and they melt or what, but like you just end up with these really thick globs of cheese. You get like a crazy cheese pull. And it feels like you're trying to Lady in the Tramp, like, half-melted cheese while you're eating. It's, like, very... I don't know, man. I'm not a huge fan of that, but like outside of that, like one little gripe, the gravy was good and the fries are like pretty good. So it was solid. It was like probably like a 7 out of 10 poutine for me. I was pretty happy to eat it. You know, there are some other places where I feel like they have poutine on the menu, and I know some people that like it, but I really don't. Like, I'm gonna be so for real with you guys. If you come to Canada and you just kind of idle-mindedly are like, man, I should try poutine, because that's like the Canadian thing, right? Don't you ever dare do it at McDonald's. Look, I know that for a lot of people when you're traveling, McDonald's is like a comfort food place to go, because it's kind of the same everywhere, and maybe it's fun to try regional stuff. And like, they are known for good fries, and for good reason, but their fries suck for poutine, in my opinion. I do not like choosing that. Aside from anything else, the gravy is like fine, but the fries are too skinny for poutine. They're not like thick enough to like stand up to the gravy. And they also have the like weird melty cheese thing that's like not really the experience. So if you decide to get McDonald's, I respect it. And because I respect that, and I think you should respect yourself, I think don't get poutine at McDonald's. Get just like a regular McDonald's kind of meal. If you see something else that I don't know is Canadian on there, you can try that. But I cannot, in good conscience, recommend McDonald's poutine. But also, like, the other side of it is, like, if you really want to, and it's, like, your only option, the nice thing about it is poutine, like a lot of Canadian foods, is, like, kind of junk food. And it's really, really hard to have, like, an actual bad poutine. It's kind of like everybody understands that bad pizza is still, like, pretty good food. Because, like, if you're in the right mood for pizza to begin with, it doesn't. The bar is, like, really low, you know what I mean? It really does not have to be that good to be a satisfying experience. And, like, poutine is fries, gravy, and cheese. Like, that is so inoffensively good. It is really, really hard to make a poutine that you would not want to eat, so. Ultimately, I think the right poutine to try in Canada is the one that is available to you. But if you have, like, more nuance to choose somewhere, I would not recommend McDonald's. Then again, though, I think, to be fair, what culture would ever be like, oh yeah, you want to try our food? Go to McDonald's, bro. That I don't think that's the spot for cultural authenticity anywhere. Like, I didn't really think of it that way in the sense that, like, Canadian food is such a, like, I don't know, ethereal concept. It's, like, not really that much of a real thing in my brain, and so I was like, this is a real mistake you could make. And then I thought about it more, and I'm like, well, if you're touristing anywhere and you care about, like, trying something for real, you're not trying it at McDonald's. But yeah, shout out Canada food. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. I was having, like, a really fun conversation with one of my friends earlier who's American, where he just knew, like, a couple of really random, like, places near-ish to where I, like, sort of like when you know neighborhoods that are not at all, like, famous for anything, and it's like, whoa, like, you're not from here. Why do you know what that is? Like, that's always, like, really fun, because I feel like I am almost never on the receiving end of that, you know? I think it's probably more common than I think it is. I think what it really is I've been interested to learn that I have a lot more people in my, like, extended circle that are in, like, a similar area to me. And as a result of that, like, a lot more of the Americans and, like, other groups that are in our, like, sort of extended friend circle have, like, significantly more Canada Ball knowledge than I would ever expect from my usual American friends or, like, my European friends or anything like that. But it is very amusing And honestly, really lovely to see the appreciation for Canada. Because I feel like, I don't know. Canada is one of those countries that I think a lot of people from other countries respect, but also most people don't like really care about Canada like that. They're not like learning anything about Canada. We just have a reputation for being nice people, and that's kind of more or less it, I feel like. Which is good. I like that reputation. But I do think it is... Oh, I guess it's kind of a similar feeling to like what I would imagine it's like to hear somebody speaking your mother tongue in an area where that is not normal, you know what I mean? And I can't fully say that I can like correlate those experiences since I'm an English native and there's basically nowhere in the world where somebody... I mean, to be fair, I don't know, if I was traveling in a country where English literacy is low and somebody spoke like perfect English despite not being like clearly a foreigner, I would be quite impressed and like kind of relieved. But I do think it is generally like a kind of different thing when English is your first language. That was fun. I've done so much like group conversating in the past like couple days. I'm usually much more of like a one-on-one conversational person. Like, I don't know. I think I really do enjoy talking to like groups of people when I'm comfortable with everybody. I think that makes a huge difference for me. When I know the people, I can really enjoy like more like medium-sized social environments. But I also do think that inherently I am such a reflective person that a lot of the time I want to have deeper conversations than you tend to be having in like larger groups. And so I tend to gravitate more towards like one-on-one or otherwise very small social circles. Or not circles, but like environments. I think a lot of the reason why I like streaming too is it lets me sort of engage socially in like a continuous like stream of conscience where I'm allowed to kind of be as deep or as silly as I want. And I like that a lot. I think I personally value that. I mean, I already, to be fair, before streaming was even like culturally a thing, I would be thinking out loud all the time. Like if I'm on a walk and there's nobody around me like in earshot, I will be thinking verbally like out loud. Kind of cursed quirk about me. And I do wonder sometimes if I like accidentally speak a little bit too loud and like somebody is like just in earshot to hear me. And then I feel like kind of awkward. Or like, you know, it looks kind of funny to be walking towards somebody enough that they could probably see that my mouth is moving and maybe faintly hear the fact that I am like mumbling something to myself. But also, like, they could see that I don't have a phone. Maybe they just assume that I'm talking to somebody with, like, a earpiece or something. Who knows? Like, one of the Bluetooth ones. But, like, the fact that I'm doing that, and then I just, like, shut up until I walk past them, and then I go back to talking. Like, if I underestimate how, like, far away, or how close people are, and they can hear me better than I think they can, that would be kind of funny for this like environment. Like how many people have just heard the random Twi ramblings on the street? Who knows? Oh, huge! Bam! Shock dodge. That was a little bit wasted, but it's fine. Got the boo. It's pretty good. Oh, I think I stole their back trail and then got them for red. Huge big win. I'm surprised. I actually won a couple races today. Massive. I feel like my throat is getting a little bit dry. I've done a lot of talking over the past 2 days, and I don't want to push it because I have a karaoke stream scheduled tomorrow, so I think we're probably going to call today pretty short. I think we'll probably be done there, but I hope you guys enjoyed a more conventional Twi rambling stream. It's been a minute. I know I've been doing a whole lot of Tomodachi life. I hope you guys are enjoying the fixation as much as I am. But thank you guys for hanging with me regardless. I super appreciate it. I hope you had fun. Tomorrow I will be back doing a karaoke stream, same time as always, 7 Eastern. We're gonna do some more singing. I'm looking forward to it. I gotta review the last one a little bit, see what kind of songs were wanted. But yeah, it should be fun. Thank you guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and I will see you tomorrow for karaoke. Bye bye. Take care, everybody.